Here's a fence that was built, looks like it's nice and straight, and why shouldn't it be? They got a curb right here. All they got to do is grade the soil over or bring some more soil in, and then they have a nice fence that is nice and straight, and the bottom you could just run the soil up to it. But this brings us to another problem, and this is something we got to think about. Remember, a lot of things that I point out in construction, remodeling, repairs, something like that, they're things that I don't think a lot of people think about, or the people doing the work just don't have the experience. And I realize not everybody is going to be able to watch these videos, but you're actually watching them. So hopefully you don't ever make this mistake. Now you can see here that the posts are, look, you can't really see the concrete. So I'm not suggesting that the concrete footings for the posts aren't above the soil, but I am suggesting that they are not going to be once you backfill this. You know, you can see right here, this post is probably sticking at least a foot above the soil. Let's just say it's 8 inches. Well, that means eventually it's going to be buried 8 inches below the soil, and this is going to create a problem. This illustration will give us a better idea of what I'm talking about. Here we have 2 fence posts. We have some soil and a concrete footing. If the concrete footing's about a 1/2 inch or 1 inch above the soil, then the soil will not be able to, once it gets moist, it's going to be harder to get the wood wet. Wood that is in contact directly with the soil, any soil that is moist, is going to absorb some of the moisture out of that soil, and especially if you have wood that is in an area where it's regularly sprayed by sprinklers, let's say, or you live in an area where it rains a lot, where there's plenty of water in the soil. And don't forget, water will absorb through the concrete. It just won't be absorbing as much as it would be as if you had the soil or the dirt or any sand, whatever you have, in direct contact with the wood. So hopefully that makes sense. I like to see 1 inch. That's usually what I would do, because you have debris that's going to accumulate eventually, leaves, sticks that are going to rot, and the soil will rise, and then pretty soon it's going to cover this area. I went ahead and put the video in X-ray mode to give you a better idea and raised the soil. So here you can see I have raised the soil about 8 inches, and now the concrete and the wood post is completely buried. And this isn't going to be a good thing. As the ground gets moist, the moisture is going to absorb directly into the wood. And this is a common problem. Rarely does the bottom of the fence post rot out or the middle of the fence post rot out in the concrete. Usually rots where at the top, where the soil is in direct contact. And again, this is more from my powers of observation. Lately I got a comment from someone who said that water doesn't cause the problem. It's some type of a bacteria. I said, okay, I surround. Remember, these videos are off of my miraculous powers of observation. And all I'm suggesting is that almost any time I have had to go replace a fence post, and really I cannot think of one time where this didn't occur. Whenever I had to replace a fence post, it was usually damaged in this area and submerged below. The wood was below the soil, so that isn't a good thing. So here you have just a different view of the post. After this person backfills their fence to make it nice and flat, these posts are going to be submerged below the soil and probably won't last as long. But the good news is that I might be able to get another picture of the fence post in a few years if it starts to rot or if the fence actually falls down. And I'll be able to do a timeline thing here, give you an idea of when I took the picture and when it actually happened. So stick around for about 10 or 20 more years, and I'll see what I can do.